And let's go on to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics versus Heat. Game 1 is Wednesday night, so by the time this episode drops, we won't be recapping game 1 of that. But Celtics, they've been one of the best teams in the NBA all season. The Heat have kind of limped in. They got off to a slow start, had some injuries they finally overcome, and then had more injuries when the playoffs started, losing Oladipo and Tyler Hero. I think there's a chance that if they make it to the NBA Finals, Tyler Hero might be able to play. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Celtics are the best team. Jason Tatum, he is the best player in this series. I think he sometimes chooses not to take over games. I think he needs to. I think when the game is on the line, I don't think the ball should leave his hand ever, and just go and make the play, be that dog like he was in Game 6 and then in Game 7 where he dropped 51 against the Sixers. And I think the Heat, if I have a prediction, I think, and we're recording this ahead of Game 1, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to say that the Heat go and steal Game 1 in Boston. I think the Celtics played a very emotional series up and down against a longtime rival. I think they might come out a little bit tired, exhausted, a little bit sluggish, and I think that's going to be enough. The Heat, they've been rested. They've got been laid up in Miami, not worried about the heat there, and I think the Heat steal Game 1. And then after that, I think the Celtics win in 5. I don't think the Heat have enough to compete with them. I think the Celtics are on a mission to make up from last year. And I think the Celtics in 5 games. Well, and we should have waited for predictions, but you know what? I screwed it up. So I guess when you guys are done giving your preview, you go ahead and give your predictions.
Honestly, I think I agree quite a bit with what you just said somehow, Dylan, believe it or not. But no, I think
it happens more often than you think.
I know. I think the Heat still Game 1 too. I think Tatum, as great as he was in Game 7, he might come off like a little hangover, like a little bit of a game hangover. Just came off like arguably the best Game 7 performance of all time.
Most points.
Yeah, most points. I mean, it's hard to argue it. They beat the living hell out of him, but he was the reason why. So I think he might go a little bit slower. They might just be a little sluggish as a team. Heat take them, win that. But then I'm right with you. I think they win in 5. They reel off 4 in a row. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Heat because obviously they won 8 games to get here. But the Bucks were not healthy. Giannis was not healthy even when he played, which is obviously a huge factor for that Bucks team. And 2, they played the Knicks, a paper tiger, in the playoffs. Like they were all year. It's the Knicks. They're not unless I don't know. They're just the Knicks. They might have a great record, but they haven't done anything relative or good in relatively over a decade at least.
Well, the last time they were in the finals, we were. Ethan and I were,
and it was in a shortened season. It was a shortened season. Yeah. It was in '99. Or no,
they made it in '99.
Yeah, so it's like they just haven't done anything. Like the Heat have actually been there. They have the advantage there. Like the Knicks have to earn it, and they got their ass kicked.
And I think this is where they're going to miss the presence of Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo.
Yes.
And with the Knicks is you can't win. You can't go deep in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson is a great player, but with your top 2 scorers being Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, you're not going to win many series. I don't think you can win a lot of regular season games, but I don't think you can win and go deep in the playoffs with those 2 as your guys. You're going to need a true alpha dog, number 1. Like, there's been a lot of talk of Damian Lillard being traded to go there. But even then, Damian Lillard doesn't play any defense, and I don't know how that would work with Tom Thibodeau.
Is that just Stephen A's wish list, and people are now saying that's a rumor?
No,
I've seen that. I've also seen Nick Wright say that too.
Dan Barreiro was talking about it yesterday, so there must be some sort of steam behind it.
Mike,
but he also doesn't want to play with Randall.
Well, yeah, and with Brunson, no one's going to get the basketball, and you're going to have no team. You're going to have an improved roster on paper, but you're still going to be at best a second-round team.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for me, guys, Dylan, I think you're spot on here. Without Oladipo and Tyler Hero, that hurts Miami in this series because Duncan Robinson played great um, against the Knicks. Bam Adebayo, he's up and down. You have Strauss, Gabriel Vincent, but that's not enough. That's not a full deck of cards against a good Celtics team. Jimmy's going to get his, but the Celtics are going to come at him in waves. You're going to have Marcus Smart on his ass like glue. Jaylen Brown was not going to be afraid to get in his face to try to lock him down. If he goes in the paint, Horford and Robert Williams are going to be all up in his stuff. I just don't know. And let's not forget, in the regular season, Miami was one of the worst offensive teams in the league. They've kind of gotten hot here in the playoffs, but if they fall back to what they were in the regular season, the Celtics are just going to come at them in waves. With Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown leading the way, I think it's just going to be a little too much. I'll give Miami one more game than what you guys said, so I'll go Celtics in 6. So for the second year in a row, the Celtics and the Heat season in Miami on the home court of the Heat.